Let's go straight to the Courier Mail. This is a big story that's happened earlier today in Queensland. And, of course, the headline is Tourist Terror. 2 men mauled just a month after drumlines removed. And the story here by Monique Prieston, and a incredibly powerful image of one of the victims on the front page. 2 tourists have been savagely mauled in the 5th Whitsunday shark attack in just over a year. British backpacker Alastair Radden had his right foot ripped off, while friend Danny Maggs suffered severe calf injuries in the attack only a month after anti-shark drumlines were removed from the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. It comes as the Morrison government unveils a new tourism campaign highlighting our beaches. Now, of course, I've written a comment piece in tomorrow's Courier Mail where I have ripped into the Greenies, the Humane Society. I've suggested if they are indeed humane, they would think about the human victims of these tragedies, not the deaths of sharks. And in fact, my headline that's been taken out of my story and put on the front page, Greenies are turning the turquoise waters of the reef blood red. Matt Cunningham, do you agree with me?
I think you've got a strong argument there, Gleesa. I think that the safety of humans should always come first in these cases, and you do only have to look at this most recent case to see the dangers of what's happening there, and the fact that this latest attack has come so soon after those drum lines were removed. Of course, we've had this debate not only in Queensland, we've had it in New South Wales, we've had it in Western Australia, but I think when you see an incident like this, it's should be pretty easy to see where we should land on this issue. You're right about that image on the front page. It's just a remarkable image of that poor bloke who's been carted away on a stretcher. You know, the injuries that those 2 guys have suffered there today are just nothing short of horrific, and I'm sure that they will remember today for the rest of their lives. But, you know, to that broader issue, yes, I completely agree with you. I think that the safety of humans should absolutely be paramount.
Caleb Bond, let's put this into perspective. On the Gold Coast, there is 42 kilometres of beautiful beaches from Narrowneck to Coolangatta. For 65 years, we've had shark nets there and drum lines. Thousands and thousands of sharks have been caught there. Not one fatality. You go 60 kilometres south to Byron Bay, no shark nets there. The greenest council in the country, no drum lines there. We've had 4 fatalities there in the last 9 years, countless, scores of attacks on humans. Now we've got the Whitsundays, one of the most pristine, most beautiful parts of Australia, certainly parts of the world. Massive amount of international tourists who come here, and they're now being confronted with images almost on a monthly basis of people having their limbs ripped apart. And, of course, we saw the young Melbourne doctor on Melbourne Cup Day last year lost his life after being savaged by a shark.
I mean, clearly these places, like the Whitsundays, the Gold Coast, rely on tourism. And people ostensibly go there for the beaches. They like to spend time in and around the water. And if they think that they are going to be unsafe in the water, then of course they're going to stop going there. And I mean, that's damaging economically, it's damaging for the people who live there, it's damaging for the reputation of the country, and it's damaging for Queensland. Ultimately, we have risen to the top of the tree. Now, whether you like it or not, humans, we've made ourselves the most dominant species on Earth. And even though, as the argument is often made, that the sharks live in the water and the water is their territory, we also live in the water. I mean, we spend time in the water. It's quite natural for us to spend time in the water. And sometimes you've got to make harsh decisions. And that involves looking after the lives of humans as opposed to the lives of sharks. And we even have technology now, like these smart drum lines, which can send an alert when a shark has been caught, and they can actually go and release these sharks. I mean, we have the technology now to not only protect humans, but treat sharks entirely humanely. But the Greenies won't accept it. They do not believe, for some reason, that humans should be in the water. I mean, if they had their way, we wouldn't go anywhere, you know, within 5 miles of a beach. We couldn't go in the water. If you get bitten, well, that's your problem. And as you raised, Peter, I mean, that's not a very humane point of view, is it? It's absolute madness.
Indeed it is. All right, there'll be a lot to play out in this space tomorrow, guaranteed, and I'm sure that the Queensland Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk, will be speaking tomorrow on this subject. It was the Queensland Government that applied to the Federal Court to overturn an earlier court decision, a tribunal decision, that favoured the Humane Society to take those drumlines and those nets away. I think Whitsundays tourism is in for a big shock. I think people will turn away.